Hi, we're having a look at Hurt, the Johnny Cash version of Hurt. He sort of made the song a lot more famous than it already was. It's a Nine Inch Nails song originally, and that's also a brilliant song to have a listen to if you don't already know it. But we're looking at the Johnny Cash one of the best ever cover versions, I think. It's amazing the way he played it, and it's quite simple to play. It's a very specific picking pattern in the verse, and then in the chorus the strumming is really quite simple. So overall it's quite an easy song, but it just sounds really good. So the actual chords for the verse are A minor, C, D sus2. D sus2, if you don't already know, is a D chord without this second finger on, so the first string is now an open string. So A minor, C, D sus2. And the pattern we have to play with this hand, on the A minor, is 5th, 4th, and then strum the last 3. And then we go to the C chord, we play a similar thing, 5th, 4th, strum the last 3, and then very quickly play the 5th again on the end. So it's a little bit harder to get at speed. And then the D sus2, we play 4th, 3rd, 2nd and 1st together, and then 3rd again. So I'll put those together slowly. Now there's different ways you could pick this. I personally would play downstrokes for all of those except for the very last note, which was on the D sus2. Down, up. I'm playing up for that last one, but the others all down. I think it sort of flows quite well that way, but there's other ways you could do it. So that's the verse, that just repeats several times. Then when it goes to the chorus, it's quite an interesting chord sequence here. We've got a G chord. Now it's the normal G that you probably know, the 3-finger one, but best to play it with these 3 fingers. And you'll see this in quite a lot of songs, especially with acoustic guitar, where people will play a G like that, and it's usually when you've got a C chord involved, because it's easier to go to a C like that than it is like that. So we definitely need to use this G really, for this fingering for the G chord. And I'll look at the rhythm in a sec, but the actual chord's G, A minor 7. Now one thing to point out, this little finger needs to stay here for all of the chords in the chorus. So this change here is a little bit tricky to get the stretch, but you need to keep the little finger on and play what would normally be a standard A minor. But adding this makes it an A minor 7. So we go from G to that, so that's a little bit awkward. Then F add 9, little finger stays where it is, first finger stays where it is, those two go like that. So we've got 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, 3rd fret. And on that chord we wouldn't play the thickest 2 strings, just be a 4-string chord. And then C, and it's a version of C that's found in a lot of songs where it hasn't got a different name, it's still just called C, but it's a standard C chord with this little finger staying here still. And the note that little finger's adding is a note, it's a G note, and there's already a G note in this chord, like sort of lower down. So that means that the name of the chord doesn't change. It's not like C7 or anything like that. It's just still called C. But remember to add that little finger there. So we've got G played like that, A minor 7, F add 9, C. And he plays this chord sequence twice. And it's 4 beats on each. And all he does is he strums down all of the strings, but mainly sort of concentrating on the thinner strings, so not hitting the bass quite so much. And those would be on the beats. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. And in between each of those beats, you do a very light strum on the bass notes, like this. So it's like a half sort of strum, if you like. So it means your arm moves twice as fast as the beat. The beat's going like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and your arms are moving 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and I'll just play through the chord sequence twice with that rhythm. So that's the first half of the chorus. The next part of the chorus is interesting. I won't waffle on too much about why this is interesting, but I think it's an interesting chord sequence here. What happens is we play the same set of chords, but we lose the C, and instead of the C on the end, we go back to G on the end. So think of it as 4 chords still, but the first one and the fourth one are both G. So we start on the G, go to the A minor 7, F add 9 just like before, but instead of C, come back to the G and then start again on the G. So the G is twice as long as the other chords. So I'll play that sequence twice. So that was the whole chorus. Just to clarify how that works, I'm just going to play one complete chorus up to speed. So that was the whole chorus. And as soon as you finish that last G, we then go back to the verse. So that last G would be... back into the verse riff. Now if you want to be exact with this, there's a little extra thing that he does, and it's at the end of the chorus, after that G, when it comes back to the A minor for the next verse, or for the, I suppose there's a bridge before the next verse, but it's the same as the verse. Instead of just doing this, he does this. Just on that first one. So it's 5, 4, 3, strum the last 2. So rather than what we did earlier, which was 5, 4, strum 3, it's 5, 4, 3, strum 2. So there's like an extra little note in there. So it sounds like this. And then the next 2 chords are the same as before. And it's back to standard. So I think it's just that one time that he does that. Might seem like a tiny little detail that's probably not necessary to do, but it does make it sound good. That's everything in the song really. The only other thing I suppose is that at the very end, on what would be the second chorus, it just keeps looping round the second half of the chorus, so that second sequence with the double G. It loops around that for longer. I can't remember without listening to the song how many times, but it's longer than the first chorus. So you've still got the first part the same, which was this. That's the same, and then it goes into the other section, G, A minor 7, F add 9, G. Start again, G, A minor 7, F add 9, G. That is the section that repeats for longer. It's probably 2 or 3 times longer than on the first chorus. So that's the whole song. I hope that works out okay for you. Remember to check out the 9 Inch Nails version if you haven't heard that already. And if you like this video, please click like, and if you haven't subscribed already, then please do. And if you want to suggest any other songs you'd like to see lessons on, please let me know in the comments. Thanks.